record. Well, I'd love to welcome my new friend, or my friend. I've only talked to you, I think I've seen you once in person before, but I have Dana Moore on the show today. And Dana, if you don't know Dana, Dana has done a whole bunch where she didn't think she probably would ever, this is probably something that she never thought she'd ever gonna do, and got into natural healing because she wanted to be an empowered mom. And so she then decided to do it as a business, and we'll talk about that, doing essential oils as a business. And it's changed her life. It's changed how she manages her health. And she's going to share us with her story to what got her into natural healing, and how things are with being a mom of 4 kids, and how she incorporates and uses essential oils with her kids every day. So thanks, Dana, for being on the channel.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here today.
So tell me, you, someone probably gave you a sample of essential oils or something, and your husband probably go, oh, those are snake oils.
So all of those things, yes, they all happened. I was originally introduced to essential oils at like a vendor fair, and a woman had made rollers for natural pain relief. So this roller said headaches or something like that on it. And I was like, oh, could oils work for headaches? I get headaches often. And she said, yeah, they can totally work for that, you know? And I was like, well, I'll buy that. So I bought like a $12 roller. And it probably had peppermint and some other things in it. I'm not even sure. But I was kind of, I wouldn't say hooked on ibuprofen, but dependent on ibuprofen at that time. I would get a lot of headaches, and I don't like head tension. Like, it's not like some people are like, oh, I just suffer through it and eventually it goes away. I'm like looking for relief for sure. And so I bought it, and I had some results with it. So that was my first initial introduction to oils in general. And then doTERRA came into my life through my best friend, Betsy. And she had this magical little kit she would carry around, and she would let us all smell it. My kids thought lemon smelled like lemonade. And anytime anyone had anything going on, she would pull out her little magic kit and start rubbing us with something or letting us smell something. And I just loved my experiences with it. So she invited me to come to like a little open house and just to learn more. And I was totally intrigued. And so that was my gateway into doTERRA. Was, well, Wild Orange was the first oil I got from doTERRA, but just a friend being a friend and saying like, do you want to try this? Do you want to try that? It was so casual, and yeah, completely unpredictable about like what would come out of that. But I was so happy just to have a magical little kit of my own for my family. And so I started in like a super humble way, just trying to have tools for myself, tools for my kids, tools for my husband, so that we could limit the over-the-counters that we were using. That's all.
Yeah, you probably didn't even know that taking ibuprofen all the time, and it's that you know what would actually happen to you if you constantly taking it all ibuprofen. There's increase of a whole bunch of other side effects. You probably had no idea.
I didn't, except for I had like a little bit of stomach pain over time. I was like, ooh, I feel something in the same place in my stomach that's not right, and I assume it was an ulcer. But you know, when you're dependent on something, sometimes you don't want to look. Like, I didn't want to Google like ibuprofen in the stomach, you know, like I was kind of like, I know this isn't good, but I don't know what else to do. And so to have a different option, that's when I started to look into it. And that's when I was like, oh gosh, let's just back off of this immediately. And so, you know, knowledge really is power, but having a second option is extremely powerful too, because otherwise you feel like you're without an option, and that's not a good feeling when you have chronic headaches, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And then as you got into the oils, it's kind of opened up the door for many of the things you've learned about taking care of your health and your family's health. So, I mean, I feel like you feel that you're empowered so much more than before you ever had essential oils in your life.
Yeah, I think that having oils in my life changed everything, because you know, when you have 4 kids or 1 child, anyone, people get sick and they pass it through the house, or things come up. Skin issues will come up, we get the note home from school that says that there's lice in the school, like everybody take precaution. Well, what does that mean? Like, what does take precaution mean? Put your kid's hair in a ponytail and don't let them share a hat. But like for me with oils, what that means for me is I spray all of our hairbrushes with Melaleuca and I brush it into their hair every day. And, we've gone season after season where we get these notes home from school, but nothing touches us. And so I feel empowered in a way that means like I can prevent. I don't have to wait and see, like, wait and see if that's going to happen to us. I kind of like jump on everything on the front end: lice, cold and flu, sore muscles, growing pains. It doesn't matter. Like all of those things, I feel like, well, I have a tool on the front end. And so we don't have to wait until it gets bad, or we don't want to wait until a catastrophe happens. Because quite honestly, lice is quite the catastrophe, honestly, for people. But, there's just so many things I feel like we get a jump on it because we have these oils like at our fingertips and we just use them constantly. And it's become a habit in our family. It's become part of our health and part of our wellness and part of our tools. And everyone is empowered to use them. All of my kids know what to do. My husband goes for it. We're all super into it because we've seen it work over and over again. And so when something works too, you can't help but like believe and go for it as your first line of defense or your first solution.
Yeah, absolutely. And so now, do you have an oil routine that you have every single day for yourself and then also for your children?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have oils in the morning, we have oils at lunch, we have oils all day long, all the live long day. But we specifically subscribe to and use the Symphony of the Cells protocols almost daily. And we do that at night before bed. What I've done is just set up a station in my house where like my box of oils are, and we have a massage table, but you don't have to have that. Anyone could duplicate this on the floor or on a bed, what doesn't matter. Where we go through and apply essential oils up and down the spine and to the bottoms of the feet, depending on their needs. So example is I have a daughter who's 12. And so she's starting to transition. Her hormones are transitioning. So we do a hormone protocol a couple times a week for her. And it's just supportive to her body. She feels more grounded. It feels more supportive to her emotions. And she asked for that. Mom, can you give me a protocol tonight? And so we do that one a couple times a week. My husband recently had a case of bronchitis that just was like heavy into his chest, and he kicked it. It was awesome, but we did the respiratory protocol almost every single night on his body. And so Symphony of the Cells is basically, it's a system or a lineup of oils that support your desired outcome. So it could be energy, it could be infectious disease, it could be inflammation, hormonal is a great example. There's several different protocols, probably a couple dozen actually, but we kind of pick our favorites, and the ones that are tried and true for us are the ones that we need the most. And it is really good to change it up too. We change it up. So it's not like every night Nate gets a respiratory protocol. It's not like that, but sometimes we'll do respiratory and then infectious disease in this particular season, because he was just dealing with kicking a more intense cold, but the good news of that is no one else got sick this whole time. So when I do protocol on him, because he is dealing with symptoms, I do a protocol on everyone who's not dealing with symptoms as a measure of prevention. And it completely works. Like the rest of us have all stayed completely healthy. So that has been probably one of the key things for us. I think a lot of people will have oils, but don't use them enough. And I always tell people, it's like going to the gym. It's like, you want strong biceps or something, or you want, stronger legs, but you only go once a month, or you hit, or you're hit or miss when you get there. But if you went consistently, like say 4 times a week, and work that muscle a little bit over time, it would get stronger and stronger and stronger. And it's the same thing with oils. Like the more you use them, the stronger and stronger and stronger your body will get, the easier your body receives them, knows what to do with them. Oils help to bring us back to a state of balance. And so to deliberately do a protocol almost every single night, or I would say we at least hit it 4 times a week. It's just, I've seen the results now. I've seen how powerful it is. And like the other day, I felt pretty run down, like a little achy and just kind of off. And I was like, I think I'm catching something. My throat felt a little sore. And I had Nate do a protocol for me. and went to sleep, and I woke up and I felt great. So whatever was kind of feeling like it was going to take root didn't. And
Mhm.
I've just have so many testimonies like that, that I would push people towards learning Symphony of the Cells and buying the Symphony of the Cells book as well. I
Yeah.
didn't create it. It's not attached to me in any way. It's just something I believe in so wholeheartedly that I talk about it and teach on it all the time.
I agree. If you guys don't know, Dana is one of the leaders in a private Facebook group where they do Wellness Wednesdays, and every Wednesday she or one of her leaders will educate on something, and they have done a lot when it comes to this Symphony of Cells protocol. So if you're on my team or Dana's team, you get access to that, and the Wellness Wednesdays are been really great, Dana. They have really
Thanks.
not just helped me, but they've helped many other people. The Symphony of Sales has, I don't even think they sell the third edition anymore. The third edition, and I have the new edition, but
Right.
they're pretty much similar. And like you said, once you get into the book, you can kind of make up your own to what oils work best with you, because we're all done chemistry a little differently. So you'll get to play around with them and see what protocols and what oils are working best with you. But I think the application method to using oils that way is powerful. Like you said, I've seen it
Mhm.
extremely powerful in our lives. And so I educate everybody that they should get that book. It's really inexpensive, and it's super powerful in knowing
Mhm.
how to use your oils.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree. And it's a
you
good
have it.
connection time. I mean, I know we were talking about that before we started the podcast today, but just how it's a powerful connection for you and your husband. My
Hmm.
kids love like that attention that they get. It only takes 5 minutes, but it's the attention that they get from me that, at nighttime, just the one-on-one,
Hmm.
rubbing their back. And it's a powerful connection time, of like service to one another.
Hmm.
And it's so easy. They could do it on each other too. Like oftentimes it's my 8-year-old who's like, I'll do a protocol for you, mom, and so you don't have to like know how to massage. You don't have, it's
Yep.
not that, it's just gently rubbing oils up and down the spine, and you can't really mess it up. So I love that, because I feel like, trust me, if we can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the other day in Wellness Wednesday, you gave a tip about how you use your diffuser and use oils as a timer and being creative. Will you talk on that? Because I thought that was like such a great idea.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a habit junkie. Like I want to maximize my time. I want to figure out how to manage my time as best possible with 4 kids. I have 2 that are homeschooled, 2 that aren't, um, running the business. There's just, we are all busy. We all have so many moving parts. So it comes from the root of my desire for like really optimal time management. Um, and one of the things within time management is that I turn off all the notifications on my phone, and I don't let my phone distract me from the work that I really need to be
Yep.
doing, from what I would call the real work. And so, because otherwise my brain wants to look at the lights on my phone constantly. And if I hear ding, ding, or see like a flashing, a notification, I want to check it constantly. It's the way our brains are wired. It's not that
Hmm.
I have no self-control. It's not that you have no self-control. It's that's what it's designed to do. It's actually designed to addict us. And so I need my phone. I think it's a brilliant invention. I just don't want it to dictate my time. And so what I do is I don't use it to help me stay on track with anything. I use my diffuser. And so most diffusers that you would have different time settings on them, usually like 1 hour, 2 hour, 8 hour, 10 hour, just depends on the style. But I keep a 2 hour diffuser. We have my favorite diffuser from doTERRA that has, I think, the best performance is the pedal diffuser. And so the pedal diffusers in my office, it's on a 2 hour timer all the time. And so what I do is I wake up at 5 a.m. and I get straight to work. My brain works best first thing in the morning. So I get my
Hmm.
coffee and get straight to work. And I put something in the diffuser that's very like uplifting and encouraging, which is the blend Motivate is my favorite one to start with.
Hmm.
And because I start every day with it, it forms this neural pathway in my head that's like
Hmm.
motivate means work, right? And not just work, but my best work is in the morning, my most
Hmm.
productive work, and the most important thing that I'm going to do that day. And I set it on 2 hours, and it's close to me. So it's like the light is on, I can see it coming out, I can smell it the whole time, but it shuts off on 2 hours. And when it shuts off, that means at 7 o'clock, which means I stop work. And then I go and I help get my kids ready for school. We make breakfast, lunches, all of that stuff, and get them sorted. And I come back to work a little bit later, and then I reset that whole process. So I'll dump whatever water is left in the diffuser. I'll add fresh water and a different blend or a different oil for a different purpose. And so I might, so then say from like 9 to 11, I'm making calls, which isn't my favorite job in doTERRA, but also it's really necessary, you know, or I'm mentoring or something like that. And so I want something like, I usually diffuse wild orange and peppermint together. It's still really invigorating. I love the smell. It's fresh. It keeps me alert. And so I'll do that, you know, my next set of time. And then again, I'll go later and later. And if I'm working in the evening, I actually diffuse things that are really calming, because if I work in the evening, I'm usually pumped up. Like I like work a lot. I love to educate people. I love to share my passion about oils with people, but then I have a hard time falling asleep if I do any kind of evening work. So I'll diffuse things really calming, like balance. I like to diffuse balance. I think that's really grounding. Any kind of the like fir and tree oils, like Siberian fir and frankincense, super grounding oils. So I'll diffuse that at night, knowing that I might have to put in some time, but then I need to tell my brain, like, it's time to kind of come down and chill out a little bit. And so I love using a diffuser as like a clock. It's kind of like my clock. It kind of tells me when to do, what to switch, when to switch it. And until it stops, and yeah, I can set it on 1 hour sometimes too, if I don't need a full 2 hours, but until it stops, I'll stay on that task until the diffuser stops. And so when the diffuser stops, I'm like, okay, time for a new thing, or time to get up and stretch, or time to go eat lunch, or whatever it is. Cause I don't want to sit all day. I mean, that's depressing, but I also don't want to get distracted and never really get something accomplished. And so it's so helpful for me, and it just has formed really good habits. And again, like it's beyond, I mean, you know, you're a science junkie, you love this, but it's beyond just like the timer. It's actually the olfactory nerve telling my limbic system what to do. And so it's way bigger than just like, oh, that's a cute little alarm clock idea. You know, it's more of like, I'm telling my brain, this is what we do. This is how it goes. And so my habit is just, it's so much stronger than if I was just trying to like accomplish work for 2 hours and hope for the best. Like, it's like giving my body all the tools that it needs to stay on task. And I love it. I think you could do it for homework time, like for moms who have kids that do homework, and they always diffuse like, okay, homework right after school or whenever you do it, 1 hour or whatever, we're going to diffuse peppermint and wild orange. We're going to work until the diffuser goes off or whatever, you know, and usually that helps people. Like, it's almost like a fun challenge. It's like, okay, let's get our work done, you know, stay on task, stay on track, don't get distracted. It's helpful. So I hope that you guys can apply that in other things, you know, but it would work for any setting, you know, anyone that needs to accomplish work. I think it would be very helpful, or even a workout. You could do it for your workout, your yoga, you know. I love it. Yeah, so grounded. And I depend on my oils for a lot of things as like cues for my day. And I would say I feel good every single day. Like I love waking up. I love getting to work. I love what I do. I think my oils are a huge part of that too.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point, because they work so much in our brain and our neural pathways. And you know, I have a stressful job and I can't diffuse all the time. So I am the walking diffuser. I will get people, I was in ICU with a stressful situation last week, and I had them going, what does that smell? What does that smell? And I needed the oils personally just for me. And it was me. And I go, I'm just the walking diffuser. And everything was calm, I have to say. And they appreciated my walking diffuser.
Absolutely. Do you put oils in your hair? I'll do that sometimes when I need to have oils on me, but I can't necessarily walk around diffusing. I rub them through my hair and on the back of my neck, and then I can smell them all the time. So
Oh, great
I
idea.
like that trick. Or on like the collar of my shirt. I mean, I'm wearing a flannel right now, but like on a scarf or a turtleneck or anything, like you can rub them right there, so they're as close to you as possible. But they stay on your clothing, right? We put them on your skin, they're going to absorb into your skin, and eventually, oftentimes other people can smell them on me, but I don't smell them as much. But on my clothing or my hair, I can still really smell it. And it's kind of like just helps you to take your oils with you throughout the day, wherever you're going, especially at work that's stressful. I mean, that's like key time to be oiled up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing how other people, they might not believe in essential oils yet, but they're going to smell them on you. And then they pay attention to how they feel, like to be like, oh, we're so calm. Thank you for wearing your magnolia or whatever, like it's important that we're doing that, because I think we're showing other people the power of essential oils, and it's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I even did it yesterday at church. I work with the 2-year-olds at church, and I put on some calming oils on my hands and on my shirt. Because as anxious kids come in, I'm like, oh
Mm-hmm.
man, we need a diffuser at church.
Mm-hmm.
They need, it will just, when that transition of leaving their mom at that age, whatever, can be hard.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I found it very, I've seen it work with these little 2-year-olds.
Absolutely.
So, and it's kind of fun that, these other moms have no idea that I'm experimenting on their children. So I'm really great here.
It's
But
confessions. Those are
yeah,
confessions.
but you'll get to love on somebody else's kid for a little bit. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a way to love on somebody else. And it is a totally way to love on somebody else and give them something they have no idea that could really just, benefit their mood and their body. So I love that, that part. Now I'm just going to talk a little bit, because we're going to keep this short today,
Mm-hmm.
but you decided to, you weren't going to get into the business of doTERRA. So what
Mm-hmm.
made you change?
Um, yeah, I did not want to be in network marketing at all. Only because I had tried a prior, uh, company right out of college, and it wasn't the best experience. It was a good product, but a bad compensation plan. And it just wasn't a great experience. And so in my mind, it kind of had like, I had a negative taste toward direct selling in general. And so when doTERRA came into my life, I absolutely loved the product. Like, I would have said from day one until now, I would still buy doTERRA every single month if I never earned a dime. Like, we
Mm-hmm.
love it and use it that much. It doesn't matter. Um, so that was huge to me, just to have that kind of conviction that like, I don't ever want to not have oils in my life. So the first year of just being a doTERRA customer, which, everyone has that ability to come in and just be a customer. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
sell essential oils at all. It's like having a Costco card, right? And you just get to buy doTERRA for a discount. So that's what I did for a year. But I'm the kind of person that if I love something, I tell other people. And so I started to tell my friends, I started to rub stuff on them. I started to be like, well, here's a sample of this, try that. Here's a sample of this, you need to try that. And so friend after friend, they were like, I want what you have. I want to get a kit. I want my magic box of oils or whatever too. And so I figured out like, oh, okay. So if they, get a kit, I get paid. doTERRA pays me. And so I figured that out kind of quickly. But even in that, I still wasn't doing a business. Like, they would say, is this your business? Are you doing this? And I was like, no. I mean, I'll help you get oils. That's totally fine. But no, it's not my business. But it was a business, because I was selling something, I was getting paid for it, like that's business. Um, so I was in denial for about a year, but about 1 year after we were, doTERRA customers and just sharing casually, I had shared enough with enough friends and had educated enough people that we had about $600 come in from doTERRA that month. And it was December, which is a really nice month to get an extra $600. And my husband was like, why does doTERRA keep paying you, Dane? Like, what is happening? I was like, I'm not sure. All my friends are using doTERRA and we all order. And I'm not sure. I don't know the compensation plan well. I've looked at it, but I haven't learned it. And he was like, well, I want to learn it. I want to look at it. He looked it over and he was like, not only are you kind of set up for your next bonus, like I was very close to the next bonus structure, but he was um, I think you're good at this. I think that you are good at this. I think that you should try it. Like, you've kind of been casual with it, but I think that there's something to it. Then also that you have what it takes. And it was really impactful for me to have his like endorsement like that and his support. He's always been a super supportive husband, but I was a stay-at-home mom for years. Like, I was a teacher for a while, then I was a doula, but mostly I was home with my kids. And so I hadn't worked in a while. And he was just kind of really encouraging. He wasn't pushing me to do anything. There wasn't pressure to make money. But there was the encouragement, and that was empowering for me. And so I decided to give it a little bit of a go. And like, I was like, okay, I'm going to see what we can do with this then. And it was like my hard work coupled with a really great compensation plan and a phenomenal product made doTERRA just take off for us. And so, sharing casually worked well for me, but sharing intentionally changed everything. And when I say changed everything, we were actually coming out of bankruptcy when we first started with doTERRA. We were actually right about at our 9-year anniversary from bankruptcy. And when the economy crashed, we lost my husband was a financial advisor, and we lost that business. We lost his whole branch. It was already struggling because it was new. It was a new business, and new businesses will struggle for years to take off. But a new business struggling when the economy crashes, it's a really bad industry to be in. Let's just say that. And so we went for years from odd job to odd job, unemployment for a long time, all kinds of things. I mean, that's a whole nother story in itself. But so when I say like changed our lives, like we were coming out of that. And so even though he had a good job at that point and things were on the upswing, we were still living paycheck to paycheck, and we were still like not able to have a credit card at that time. You know, everything was cash. So there wasn't extra for anything. And I kind of resolved in my heart, like we would not probably be the family that goes on vacation, because our kids will probably need braces, and that's going to be more important, you know, and we'll have to like really decide what's important and what's not. And that's okay. I came to like a ton of resolution in it. I had contentment in it, but I definitely thought this is going to be it for us. Like, this is kind of like, we've reached our ceiling, like we've reached our cap of possibility in life. And this is like our direction. And we had a great marriage. So like, that was okay. I was fine. You know, I was happy. I had a great husband. We have kids and our kids are healthy, and that's huge, you know? Cause I know the pain of not having healthy kids too. And so I know that we're so blessed not to have to deal with the daily struggle that can bring, you know, and there's just so much to be thankful for. So, I was just like, we're doing good, you know, like, let's not reach for more. But when doTERRA started to grow, the possibility of so much more, opened up, and it changed everything. So I started working on doTERRA, and about 14 months after that, my husband, I out-earned him, and he quit his job to come home and help me with the business because it was growing at a rate that I couldn't handle by myself anymore. And that was amazing. And that actually catapulted our growth even more, because then we had, you know, 2 brains working on the same thing. It made a huge difference. And so the rest is kind of history, but it's what we both do full time. And we've given, you know, all of our kind of resources to just this health and wellness education and helping to empower other people like us, not just physically, because I think health is important and we want people to feel optimal, but also financially, because that's where we were the most unhealthy in our life. And that's where like we reap the benefit of doTERRA probably the most. If you could quantify it, it would be financial health for us.
Wow. Wow. Well, what an amazing story to like getting into oils and then seeing the benefit of something else. And also, Dana, being content to what you have. There's so many of us that honestly will strive sometimes too much for other things, but we need to have, I think that, you know, every single day, I find it very helpful that I write in my journal and I write what I'm grateful for. And then I literally write for like little teeny things in life, so that I'm not envious of anybody else. And 2, that I can just see, the little things that God's blessing me with. Hey, I slept well last night. And, and as a mom,
Totally.
it's so good. And we can get so caught up in, comparison, or, you know, comparing yourself to other people or wanting what else someone else has, but just being grateful for what we have. And so I like that. I love that you put that in there. And then I love that you put that in there, that it is possible, and that you, the only way to not have it possible to grow in doTERRA is to give up and walk away.
Absolutely. I think anyone can have a measure of success in doTERRA as much as they want, you know? And for a lot of people that just looks like, hey, I love doTERRA and I want to get doTERRA paid for. Like, I'd love to share enough with others that my oils are now paid for every month. We don't get free oil. I mean, you and I both know we pay for our oil every month, but we make money, you know, through doTERRA. And so sometimes I help people on that. I know you do too. They'll do enough sharing. And then other times people want some money to like supplement income, you know, like I need a little bit more so I don't have to put in some overtime, or so we can pay down debt. You know, I just need some extra would be amazing. And then other people would do what we've done and completely replace their income too. So there is a path for everybody in this. Just depends on which direction they desire to go and what their life goals are, you know. So I think it's a great opportunity. I think network marketing in general is an awesome opportunity that often is overlooked, probably because people have negative mindsets like I did, or bad experience in the past, or somebody didn't handle a situation well, which is so unfortunate, because it is such an incredible opportunity and there's no glass ceiling. I can continue to earn and earn and earn with doTERRA. There's no stopping the earning potential. And that's kind of incredible for women in general, in the workforce still. And we're about to hit 2020 and we still don't have equal pay. Those things are frustrating, but I don't have to actually even play that game, right? I can create my own future with this. And I'm just so thankful for that. I'm so thankful for an opportunity that looks a little different and maybe isn't the norm, but has been kind of the biggest breath of fresh air we could have ever imagined. And I love that. And I love to help other people find that too.
Yeah. And it's because of that I know that I was looking for a natural solution long before I got doTERRA, that I tried massive amount of things at a health food store to helping my own children at home and my own health at home, because being a nurse, I knew long-term effects of certain medications and I didn't want them on. And I knew it's the frustrating part of medicine is that our doctors are very limited. They know pharmaceutical medicine, and you want to be empowered to be the best mom, to be the best wife or woman. You want to be able to take care of your body correctly. You have to do the research, you have to do the work. And like, I have a stack of books behind me. There is so much data and research and science behind what we are saying and what the oils will help and support our bodies. So it's a empowering thing, because there's somebody out there waiting. There's somebody literally waiting for what you have and praying for what you have to help them with whatever's going on with their body or their mind, their emotions. Cause there's like you said, there's such a huge key to that. So yeah, I agree. Thank you for so much for sharing your story, and that your Wellness Wednesdays are great when you get your kids out. As I love your little kids that are out there letting me do the Symphony of Cells on them.
Sometimes they're naughty, like they like try to push my buttons and I'm like, I'm live with thousands of people watching and you are totally being a stinker. But that is about as real as life is, you know? So yeah, I'm not immune to stinker children who like try to, you know, upset their mom. But yeah, I'm happy to share. I love educating our community, and I just love like this opportunity. Thank you for that, because I think the more we have voice in this arena, you know, and the more that we're just sharing, it's going to help. And it might be this podcast that triggers somebody to start exploring natural wellness for their family and find solutions that they've never known before, you know, and
exactly.
That makes me excited. It makes me excited for the listener, the one even, that their life will change because of it. So keep doing what you're doing. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved your tip, because I think there are so many people that are so creative and that have something on the side, or they're writing a book, or they write a blog, or they're super creative in their arts. And I'm not artistic, but I have a child that can paint and draw. And if you think about the oils that way, where you are saying like use the diffuser, also your tip in we work better, and there's science behind it. There's another book I've read about this, that we give ourselves intervals of breaks. And so you get that time where you're totally focused, and the oils work on helping you focus and work in that limbic system and work you get your task done, and then taking the break and realize you need to take a break. And I mean, at 10, 15 minutes, whatever. That's why we do that with our children in school. We need to do that with ourselves at home when you have a job where you have to be extremely creative. So I think that's a very powerful tip. When I heard you say that, it was awesome. You also do, I just want to plug in the Wellness Wednesdays. They always just don't do oils. They talk about everything that's going on, from you give bone broth recipes and showed you how you made bone broth once. which
Yeah.
I have done, but I do not like the chicken feet. But anyways,
Well, if
um,
you want more of that, so the Wellness Wednesdays are exclusive to our community.
yep.
You have to have a DoTerra membership within, under my umbrella, under your umbrella to be part of that. But you can also find me on Instagram. It's Dana Moore is my Instagram, or danamore.com. And I do go into a lot of that on there too. Not as much, but you get the tips, the tricks, the recipes,
Yep.
and mostly it's just things that help me. Like, nothing that I do is super fancy. It's not extravagant, and it's definitely not difficult. I can't do that. I wouldn't hang in that with that crowd at all. I'm like, listen, it's got to be simple. It's got to make sense. Somebody just demonstrate what to do, and I'll do it too. And that's what I have found the most empowering for me. And so I find that that's the way I can empower others the most as well. So you guys can check that out, but it's entertaining to say the least, because we are pretty raw and uncut in that arena. And I appreciate that too. I don't think anything that we do is very curated.
Mm-mm.
And I just hope that people appreciate that, because when I see things that are overly curated, I'm like, this means nothing to me, because my life will never look like that. I want to know who's really real, and who dances in their pajamas, and whose kids make fart jokes, and, all in the same time. And we're still cooking dinner. Right. And it's, like that kind of thing. That's what makes me happy. So that's what I want to be for other people. It's just like a really real person. Yeah, we've had a lot of success, but I think that I want you to know everyone can do that, because there's nothing extra exceptional about us. So yeah, that's my little plug for everybody.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to thank you so much for being on my podcast and sharing this out. I know there will people that will really get something from this conversation. And definitely go pick up the Symphony of Cells. I guess we're selling that book really well.
Yeah, I know. I mean, really, I think it's at symphonyofthecells.com, but it's designed by Boyd Truman, if we didn't
I
say
know.
that. And he's
Yes.
just an essential oil genius. And
Yes.
it is like, I hate when people kind of say it's my essential oil Bible, because, but it is kind of like my go-to, it's like the book that I grab when I need a solution with oils. So, grab that book. I want to say it might be like $13 or something like that. It's worth every little dollar. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yep.
I'm
Well, thanks for
gonna
having me today.
thank you. I'm gonna hit stop. Hold on.
Okay.